Welcome to the Priority Lane podcast. Today, I'm joined by Trish Gregory, EFP Certified Financial Advisor and Insurance Specialist at Hayes & Co. Insurance Services. With close to a decade in financial advice, Trish has built a reputation for making complex insurance conversations practical, personal, and empowering. She was named one of Australia's 50 most influential advisors in 2023, and alongside her client work, she's a passionate advocate for women in advice through her leadership with the FTRIPL Inspire community. Also, last year, she was named Financial Advisor of the Year, Insurance Advisor of the Year, and Most Compliant by her licensee. Well, Trish, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Nigel. It's very exciting to be here.
Very good. And look, pleasure to have you on. And I'll tell you what, that's quite an impressive list of achievements you racked up over the last couple of years.
Oh, it feels like it, my goodness. And then I go, but it's just little old me. Like, why do I don't know.
Well, someone appreciates your work, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Now, you co-host a podcast yourself. Do you want to give us a quick rundown on what that covers?
I do. So I co-host a podcast called Money Talk Real Talk with my co-host Suzanne Alexander, and we talk to midlife women about money and mindset. So she's a former financial advisor, now a money and mindset coach. I'm a financial advisor who now specializes in insurance. And so we both bring our different, I'm very technical, she's very the mind side of things. So it's a wonderful blend for really the midlife women just like us about all sorts of topics, all a variety of financial topics. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes it's just us. And it comes out weekly.
Okay, great. And so so midlife, is that just a blurry sort of parameters, or do you find it's this age to this age, or?
Yeah, fairly blurry. Like if you think you're in midlife, you probably are. I think we're both early 40s. It's sort of the vibe's a lot of your late 30s to maybe early 50s is sort of that vibe where there's perimenopause happening, there's kids that are a bit older, there's mortgages, there's really ramping up with work, there's, divorces, there's new relationships, there's all sorts of that sort of thing. And we found that we didn't feel like there were really a lot of Aussie podcasts out there talking to that section. Like there's some amazing money podcasts that tend to be, it feels like either talking to the much younger people or the people who are retiring. Right. Like we just want to talk to the people like us.
Yeah. As you said, where there's a lot going on, a lot to consider. Just when you were going through that list, I started to get tired myself. Now, you were a financial advisor for a number of years, won a couple of awards, and then moved into an insurance specialist firm. What was the motivation for the move from general financial advisor into insurance specialist?
Yeah, so I love being a holistic financial advisor. So doing all the things, your investments, your super, your insurance, your budgeting, your cash flow, your mindset, all of those sorts of things. But I did find that as a financial advisor who was doing everything for the clients, I was feeling quite stretched. And I also wanted to start my own practice. But there's this really typical thing that happens in financial advice, which is when you join a practice, I've seen it so many times with so many of my peers, you join a practice and they say, of course, you'll be able to become a partner, you'll be able to buy your clients, we'll support you, but then that kind of drags on and just never happens. It's very, very common in this profession, I find. And so I sort of went, well, I don't want that to happen to me. I really do want to start my own practice. And so when I was looking for my next job, my boss, Catherine, said to me, Trish, have you ever thought about insurance only? And I said, well, no, that sounds crazy. And she said, well, I have a proposition for you because I know you want to start your own business and we need more insurance advisors. I promise you, you will love it and never want to look back if you become a specialist. So I sort of took that leap and haven't. Love it. She was 100 right. So it was a bit of a leap, but it was also the the next step to starting my own practice. So building my own business within her business. And then when I'm feeling like my family's ready for it, I'll start my own business with her love and support.
Wow, that's amazing. So ticks a number of boxes for you.
A number of boxes, that's right, yeah. And I don't like being an insurance specialist. I don't feel that stretch anymore. I'm able to really focus on such a narrow part of this profession and just do it really, really, really well.
Yeah. Yeah. So on the client side, what would be the difference from me getting insurance advice from a financial advisor and then also an insurance specialist?
Between a financial advisor and insurance specialist, it would definitely depend on the financial advisor. So you have access to the same products. So number one, it would just be how much time or what the process is for the advice firm to take the client through that process. So when I was a financial advisor who did everything, insurance, and I think almost all of my financial advice peers who do this agree, insurance is the most frustrating, the most annoying, the slowest part of the process and the least rewarding, right? You know you need it, you know you need to do it, but it sucks. It's horrible. So you do it begrudgingly, it takes forever. It's that one that sort of just goes on and on. Whereas being an insurance specialist, I can go from meeting the person to getting their insurance in place in as little as 2 weeks. Obviously, some take longer. It all depends on the medicals, but we're able to spend so much more time on getting into the nuance of the medicals, pre-assessing really well their medical situation, and knowing much more which insurer works better with this specific niche of person, whether it's lawyers or whether it's people over 40 who are blue collar, or whether it's professionals over 50, or whether it's, this client who works with horses can't get insurance with these 3 insurers, but can absolutely get insurance with these 2 insurers. So let's go there.
Okay. Okay. So when you were in general financial advisory, it was just here's a solution. This looks as though it ticks the boxes. Here we go, type thing.
Exactly. That's right. It was much more, let's give it a go and then sort of deal with what happens afterwards. And the way I describe it is we had about, I think that the rate is about 40% of insurance that are general advisors, so holistic advisors, about 40% of their insurance policies that put with an insurer go into force, so are accepted. We're at about 90% of insurance policies that we put to an insurer go into place. It's really only those wild cards that we didn't anticipate that don't go into place. That's more than a 50% increase for
Wow.
the same
Yeah.
amount of work. So it's much better for the client. It's much better for the firm, and it makes it easier all around.
So that rate is that the insurance company accepting the proposal, or is that right? Okay. And what about at the other
Mm.
end with the payouts? Have you seen differences in what is successfully paid out as opposed to not?
No, not necessarily. A whole bunch of advice firms don't help with the claims side of things. So they may write the insurance policy, but then might pass it off to someone who deals with claims or just says to the client that you're kind of on your own. And look, most claims do end up tending to be paid. It's quite a high percentage of claims that do end up being paid. But one of the biggest reasons that claims don't get paid is actually down to non-disclosure, not because the insurer doesn't want to pay it. It's because a client either by accident or on purpose lied when they were doing their application. But
Okay.
what is it? Like death is 97% of insurance claims are accepted. Income protection is 94% of claims are accepted. Total and permanent disability, 83% of claims are accepted. So pretty high rates.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I guess that The theme of the last few podcasts we've done is about building that client relationship, knowing your client, getting
Mhm.
them to open up to you. That's just as important to make sure that a successful claim is lodged.
Absolutely. It's all in the setup. It's about how you make sure that the client discloses everything that the insurer asks without over disclosing on things that the insurer has not asked. That is a big problem in the profession is clients, when they do their tele interview with the nurse practitioner to get their insurance, it, it can sort of feel like a bit of a counselling session. The people on the other phone are very lovely and they tell them all the wonderful, beautiful things. And then the insurer goes, oh, you told us about that thing that we never asked, but now you've told us, we can't ignore it, and then it'll decline.
Right. Okay. Okay. So you almost need coaching before you get on that call.
Yes, yes.
Mm. So you mentioned before you got it when you were approached by Kathy to move into
Catherine.
the Catherine, sorry, to move into the insurance industry. She said you'll love it. You're a bit skeptical. So what's changed your perspective on insurance now that you're all in with it?
Well, first of all, just how quick and easy the process can be. So when you have a good system like we do and really good staff that know their stuff, it makes life so much easier. Just means I'm able to be there for the client in the meeting. I'm able to because I have a really good relationship with the insurers and the underwriters, I can call them up, ask them a question. I don't need to email and wait for them to get back to me. I can just call them and say, hey, there's this issue, which means that my day can move so much faster and I can solve the problems for the clients a lot easier. Another thing that's quite handy is I have 6 BDMs. And so BDMs are business development managers, essentially the salesperson of the insurer who help me to understand the product better. When I was a holistic financial advisor, all the BDMs want to talk to you. The super funds, the platforms, the investment BDMs, the insurance BDM, everyone wants to talk to you. Whereas now I have 6 people. That's it. No one else talks to me because if they say, hey, Trish, I would love to tell you about our product. And I go, I would love to have a chat, but I only do insurance. And they go, oh, never mind. Okay. So, it's a lovely way to say no. And I am honestly, since I went to Just Insurance, I was just shocked, beyond shocked at how easy the process was when it works well, when you've got a good process, when it's streamlined, when you have good people working for you. I could not believe the stark contrast from every other firm that I've worked for versus doing this one. It's quite incredible.
Okay. Okay. So it's like you've discovered a new world.
Discovered a new world, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So comparing your two lives, your holistic, your two main roles over the last few years, your holistic financial advice and your current insurance specialist. I get it. Insurance specialist is your love, your passion now. Are there areas of the old world, the holistic financial advice that you miss?
Look, I love getting deep into the weeds of people's lives and helping them solve those amazing problems in their world. I That's kind of why I have the podcast, so I can still talk about all the other bits and pieces.
Hmm.
But I don't necessarily miss it. I would love to go back to it, but not at the detriment of my lifestyle. But what I do enjoy is now I get to refer out to so many amazing advisors who don't do insurance, who do all the other bits. And I then know that they're doing that bit really well and I'm doing my bit really well and the client is getting help throughout. I kind of, I suppose I feel like the soft way in to financial advice for people who might be hesitant, where I can help them out and I can make them feel comfortable. I can make them realize that this is important. And then I already see their financial situation, right? And I might say to them, look, I think it might be a good idea for you to have a chat with a financial coach, or maybe it might be a good idea for you to go and see this advisor who does one-off advice, just so you can double check everything. Because I already know, I probably already have the solution in my head that would make their lives better, but I'm no longer going to do that. So I'll pass them off. So yes and no.
Okay. So which way do the so I'm guessing you get referrals also from financial advisors. Is it kind of like
Correct.
an equal flow to and from, or which way does it flow?
I would probably say it flows more towards me. Um, because when there's quite a few financial advisors who don't want to do insurance and therefore they send them to me, there's not too many, there would be less people that come directly to me, and then and haven't already sort of figured out their solution, but the people who haven't, I definitely try to send off. The thing that people like for me, working with me, the financial advisors, is that I'm not going to steal their clients. All I do is insurance.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they can feel really comfortable that I'm going to look after their clients. I'm going to give them the information that they need. I'll be very responsive when they need the reports, and I can just help them out and make them look good.
yeah, yeah. So when people think of financial advice, it's sort of, I guess a lot of it is the wealth creation
Mm-hmm.
type plan. And then you've got the insurance side of things. Is there which is sort of the protection of that? I'm guessing that's sort of the protection of the wealth, future
Yeah.
earnings. Is there what is the secret formula, the balance between the two, or does such a thing exist, or is it bespoke for every individual?
Oh, definitely bespoke for every individual. And it certainly depends. There is always that balance between cost and insurance and how much insurance is enough. We'd all love to have 10 million of life and total and permanent disability insurance, right? Like, so that if we passed away, our family would be totally fine. But that comes at a cost. And so for everyone, what we aim to do is show them, is have a really personal conversation, first of all, about what's important to you. Is your house going to be suitable if you're in a wheelchair? Do you have family nearby that are going to be able to support you? Are you all on your own? How old are your kids? Private or public school? Those sorts of things. So every single person is going to be different. There is a formula that we use, right? We have a fairly strict formula that depends on your information that you tell us. And then what we do is we talk with each client about, well, here's what it would cost if you had everything, every single thing that you've talked about, if we could solve all those problems. So if you were ill or injured and unable to work, or you got cancer or something like that, financially you'd be okay, and you just have to focus on the medical side of things. But then people can make that decision. Is that the right amount based on the cost? Or should we take some insurance off to reduce the cost? Are you okay with self-insuring, taking on some of that risk yourself instead of sending that risk to the insurance company and paying for it?
Okay, okay, okay. So is there like a holy trinity of insurance cover, or is it just, again, like, would you say, okay, you really need this, this, and this? That's a starting point, and then we work from there, or is it again based on each individual?
Look, there is ideally everyone's getting all of the insurance, right? Income protection, trauma insurance, child trauma insurance if you have kids, total and permanent disability, and life insurance. Most people, if they have default insurance in their super fund, have income protection, total and permanent disability, and life. So that's what people tend to think of when they think of these insurances. When we think about like what should people have, it's really about how much risk are you willing to take if something goes wrong. Income protection has one of the highest acceptance rates. Trauma insurance has a lower acceptance rate, but it's still higher than total and permanent disability. Most people tend to look at insurance and say, well, what happens if I die? How will I protect my loved ones? But they forget that it's usually more expensive to be unable to work and still be alive. So there's usually a lot of coaching around, well, what happens if, so that people can realize that actually we do have some savings. We do have some money in the offset. We might have an investment property we can sell. But if I was injured or ill and we did all of those things and I could never go back to work again, I'd still be screwed. So we build from, can you get everything? If you can't get everything, what's going to be most important and most impactful?
Okay, so I guess you go into a much deeper level than the holistic financial advisor in that circumstance, and that's why they refer on to yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Look, not to throw holistic financial advisors under the bus, a whole bunch of them do a really, really good job. It's just that it's one piece of their job, whereas it's
Yep.
our
Yep.
whole job. That's kind of the difference.
Yeah, yeah. Like you're the specialist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. Now, insurance does have seem to have an image problem at times, which no doubt
Doesn't it?
you've encountered. Now, a common comment around insurance is that it's only worth something if something goes wrong, which is, I guess, why it's there. Um,
Mhm.
is do you come up against that a lot, or I'm guessing the people that come and see you have been referred to you, or they're in the market for insurance anyway, so they've overcome that themselves. But is that something that comes into the conversation, and how do you counter that?
Absolutely. I've certainly heard people say, well, this insurance was useless. I never got to claim, I never got the money from it and I've paid for it all of these years. And to that I say, you are so lucky because you've never had to claim on your insurance. You've never been ill or injured enough and had to claim on that insurance. My gosh, are you lucky? Because as someone who has lived with someone who had 10 years out of the workforce because of their injury, I can tell you that we would have much preferred that he stay in the workforce and not be injured and therefore not have the money.
Yeah,
So I often use that story, like the reason my partner and I were able to have our third child and buy our home was because he had a little income protection type policy, and therefore we were okay for me to make the decision to become a financial advisor. We were okay to take risks because we had a little trickle of money coming in. But yeah, I mean, so some older people tend to think they think it's unfair that insurance policies don't have a dollar value at the end like it used to be. There used to be it was like an insurance slash investment policy. Those don't exist anymore because insurance products are great and investment products are great and they don't need to be tied together like they used to be.
right. Okay.
But I tell my clients at the very, very beginning, I hope you never have to claim on this. That is the goal. I'm
Well,
selling
that's it, isn't
something
it?
I
Yeah.
hope you never have to touch.
Basically selling peace of mind. You can sleep at night.
Exactly. It really is giving people peace of mind. And I experienced that personally. Not that I do anything particularly dangerous, but especially when, as a mother, my mind goes to the worst case scenarios. I'm just like, that's okay, because even if the worst case scenario happens, my family will be okay financially. I'm a money person. I think about that all the time.
So, talking about perception, I went to AI, and
Hmm.
so I asked common perceptions on insurance. And do you want to hear what I got back? Which you probably already
Go
know
for
anyway.
it. Yes,
Okay,
please.
rightio. Here's a snapshot of a few. It's too expensive. I probably
Hmm.
won't need it. It's too complicated. Insurers won't pay anyway. Insurance is about fear, and advisors only bring it up to sell something. Now, there were a few more, but there weren't any positive ones in there. They were all along the same vein. Um, so, how did these come up in conversation? Again, I know people are coming to you because you're not out on the street corner in the shopping market giving out PDSs. Um, but how do you counter those conversations? Is it the same type of thing about using that example of, well, look what could happen?
Uh, to a degree, yes, it is because people, um, the way that we look at insurance is the old way of looking is you're building a house, right? Insurance is the foundation. You can build all the investments in the world. You can have investment properties. You can have amazing shares. You can have your super all set up. But if something happens and stops you from working, and if something happens and you need to pay for it from a medical perspective and it's quite expensive, what are you going to do? So when I talk to people about the risk, I need to help them understand the risk of doing nothing has a real tangible issue if something happens to them. Statistically, it's not going to happen to them. I see it all the time when it does happen to people, unfortunately. So things like it's too expensive, well, it depends on what job you do and how old you are and how sick you are. I can get people really good quality income protection, life insurance, total and permanent disability and trauma insurance for like under $2,000, and most of that's coming from your super. Like, it can be really, really affordable, and I always try and find the most affordable. You can have bells and whistles, you can have the basics, that I probably won't need it. Sure, you probably won't. But what if you do? Are you going to start a GoFundMe? How many people are going to pay for that GoFundMe? Are you going to live on your mum's couch forever?
Yeah.
Not sure about that.
Which, I mean, it's funny. No one balks at getting car insurance. You get a car, you get car insurance.
Pet insurance. People get pet insurance. Their pet is not making them money. One way that we do this is we show people the impact of their income. So people say, oh, I'm earning $100,000 a year, I'll be fine for a couple of years. And we go, yeah, but what happens if you can't work until age 65? That might be $2 million, $3 million, $4 million if you never earned a pay rise. And that can really help people visualize, oh, actually, that's quite a lot of money that I'm missing out on. And this $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is, policy, actually, if I need to claim, I'm going to get back way more. And I can direct people to our website of all the claims that we have helped.
Yeah, I saw that on your website. So basically, it's just common sense, really, isn't it? It's, you're insuring your car, and look, fine. If you don't claim on it, well, you've led a pretty happy and carefree life.
Exactly, that's right. Like, we don't wear seatbelts when we drive a car because we hope we get in an accident.
No, that's true.
We do it because in that moment in time, if you get in an accident, it's too late to put your seatbelt on. It's the same thing with insurance. Most people look at their insurance when they have a claim, and by that point, it is too late to do anything about it. You get what you get and you don't get upset. Well, you can probably get upset. That's what I tell my kids when they don't want to eat their veggies.
So is there, unfairly, there's that sort of negative perception, I guess, or is the industry as a body, are they working on changing this perception, and how do they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I find that anyone who has dealt with a good financial advisor loves the profession, loves financial advisors, thinks what they do is amazing, loves insurance advisors. And everyone that I know, everyone that I'm surrounded with are all amazing people who do amazing things and just want to help. You had Kira, you had Nicola on the last 2 episodes, and they are both amazing people who all they want to do is help. And that came through quite strong in their podcast episodes. That's all the people I know in this profession. So what we're doing from a perception side of things, there's a group called CALI, Council of Australian Life Insurers. They put out a lot of information and white papers and statistics. And if you actually look at the numbers, you'll see that the insurers are doing the right thing, right? They're staying solvent, which is very important for longevity. They're making sure that they pay out claims, and they're trying to keep their policies as affordable as possible. Unfortunately, life insurance is getting more expensive. One of the issues is that the commission rate for what insurers pay to advisors went down. So a lot of advisors stopped doing insurance because they weren't getting paid as much. It used to be 110% of upfront commissions the advisor would receive in the first year. Now it's 66%. That's counted from New Zealand. It's like 250% commissions. I think that's a bit outrageous.
Yeah.
But that's just how you get paid, because people, especially the younger people, like, they need the insurance. They can't afford $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 to pay the advisor to put the insurance in place.
Yeah. Okay. So have you found like there's different attitudes to insurance from different groups in the community, whether that be gender-based, cultural-based, age base, or is it pretty much, well, everyone's got the same type of attitude towards insurance?
I find that the people who come to me have a healthy level of skepticism,
Mhm.
but they don't, they haven't written it off, obviously, or they wouldn't be there. And then once it's explained to them the difference it can make in their lives if they need to claim, they tend to be quite on board. They don't stress. They're like, oh, actually, this will help reduce my stress. This will mean that no matter what happens, I'll be okay. So, yeah, most people, there's varying levels of skepticism, right? Like when I was younger, I thought insurance was a scam. So I can understand that other people think insurance is a scam. I thought insurance was a scam, and my partner had just gone essentially on his income protection claim, which is hilarious. And I hear that cognitive dissonance all the time. And then, you sort of realize, oh no, the reason we can live our life is because he has an income protection claim. This is bizarre. Why did I think this way? So, I understand
Yes.
that this profession has gone through a lot, right? We had a Royal Commission in 2018, which brought out the worst of the worst. It was really talking about all the things that were wrong in the industry. And then we had a lot of legislative changes. We brought in the degree requirements. We took away the ability to receive payments from superannuation and investments, or commissions rather. And so now we're at this point where really the only people left by a decently large majority are the people that want to help. And so the perception is shifting over time. I know I'm good. I know the people that, well, I believe I'm good. I should say no. You never know. I'm sure every psycho thinks that they're wonderful. But I know that the people that I surround myself with are really good people who just want to help. And so from a perception perspective, it's really just a one client by one client, getting to know their advisor, becoming really comfortable, feeling safe, feeling like they're on their side. And I think every advisor has a part to play in that. My goal is to make people feel comfortable. They talk about some really awkward medical things, and it's just like an everyday for me. I'm like, yep, tell me all of the weird and wonderful things that have happened to your body and your mind, so I can note them down and I can deal with them. And I think it's just quite takes people's guard down. They don't stress as much. They're like, oh yeah, it's just very practical and important information and a very safe space. So they tend to open up and not stress too much, which is lovely because they shouldn't.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one thing, because people are generally guarded about that type of information. Obviously,
Yeah.
on your side, there's got to be a great skill set of for yourself of how to draw that make people comfortable, create an environment where they're comfortable talking about those things because they're deeply personal. And do you sense there's a fear of being judged when they're telling you these things? Like they're worried about you may judge them or anything? Because there's a lot of deep personal stuff you need to dig through.
There is. I don't know if I've ever noticed anyone
You probably will
feeling
from now on.
looking like they do. I do everything virtually, so maybe that's easier for them, that they feel like they've still got that little bit of a safety guard there. I do find that people won't put everything in the questionnaire that we send them beforehand. And then when I explain to the importance of me knowing literally everything, they tend to open up. I know in the past when I wasn't a specialist, I have had people say, look, I'll just tell the insurer, I won't tell you. And I'm like, that's cool, that's fine. But now that I'm a specialist and we do things a bit different, yeah, everyone just opens up. They just tell me all of their deepest and darkest issues. And I go, okay, cool. That's
You
cool.
can make
I'll see what the
you can
insurer
write a
says.
great book about this. Now, AI is creeping into a lot of industries or marching into a lot of industries. Is it playing a role in the insurance industry at all at this
Yeah,
stage?
absolutely. Absolutely. We use it from a business perspective. We find it incredibly helpful for some more complex medical scenarios. So when people are telling us quite a complex medical situation, they're rattling off all of the information. Um, and, we need to get specific information to tell the insurer. We're finding that quite handy to disseminate a whole conversation into something that the insurer needs to see. The insurers are doing things like, I'm not sure if it's AI or if it's just really good coding. Who knows? I'm not behind the scenes. But there are a bunch of times where I can get an automatic acceptance for an insurance policy because the person hits the parameters that it's not an issue for the insurer. So I imagine there's some AI engine behind the scenes there saying all of these things are non-problematic. So yes, we'll just go ahead and give you the insurance straight up. It is certainly becoming more prolific. I have noticed, every single conference you go to, there's something about AI. Every single conversation you have, there's something about AI. I think the big things there is the safety and security aspect, because as financial advisors, we deal with such personal information with clients to make sure that their very, very sensitive personal information is kept very, very safe.
Yeah, you're right. That's a big concern, isn't it? Looking ahead, the future of insurance, where do you see it heading? Is it becoming more complex? How do you see the insurance industry in, say, 10, 15 years from now?
Mm-hmm. Well, to start with, I'm hoping the commissions will be a little bit higher, like 88%, so that more people will feel comfortable doing insurance, so that, give them a little bit more money, which means that we can have more people getting insured because there's more people able to support them. That would be lovely. I think there will be, at the moment, the large majority of total and permanent disability and income protection claims are because of mental ill health. And I think that's only going to continue because we are so much more aware of it these days. And also life seems to be getting so much harder. I truly believe that you should have a specialist insurance advisor if you're going to be doing insurance, whether that's an in-house person who just does the insurance side of things, or whether that's you refer out to a specialist. Because having seen both sides of the coin, I think you get a much better service from someone whose whole focus is just insurance, because every single policy is a tiny bit different. Every single PDS, those lovely documents, is a tiny bit different. They all have their sweet spot. So that is definitely what I think the industry should become. Will it become more complex? I don't know. The insurers continues to consolidate is the challenge. So there's like one insurer that is three insurances, and there's another insurer that's buying another one. So there'll be three insurers with one insurer. And so I think there used to be like 50 when the insurance industry started before my time. And now there's 6.
Okay.
And soon there'll be 5, or there's 7 and now there'll be 6. So hopefully we will see that the insurers, we don't just have 1 or 2. We don't want to have a Coles Woolies situation here.
Yeah.
We want to have competition. But I definitely don't think it's going anywhere. We just may find that it's really only in the space of the specialists in the future.
Well, it sort of makes sense. As industries or technology or anything, as it evolves, it becomes more specialized. So therefore you need specialists. We don't have, a GP doing everything. You have your specialists. So yeah. Now we're going to get a bit more serious now.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, here we go. Okay. So serious hats on. So what I've done, we've been talking a bit about perception, obviously. So I from our chat we had the other day, and from just talking to people, I've personified insurance specialist in my mind. Okay, so I've got a character or a personification of insurance in my mind and what that looks like and what they do. And I've asked AI to come up with 3 movies that match this personification that I've come up with, okay? And I'm going to ask you to see, I'll read out the movies to you. I'm going to ask you to see whether you can find the common thread, whether you can unravel what's going on in my head. So, bit of a tough ask, but we'll see how we go. So, you ready?
Let's go. Yes, go for it. Drum roll.
Okay.
Can we do a drum roll?
Drum roll. Movie number 1, Dave Made a Maze. Movie number 2.
What is the movie? Dave Made a Maze.
Dave Made a Maze, obviously very popular, no doubt one of your top 3 movies. Second movie, John Dies at the End. Third movie, The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. Now, I've got 3 seconds. Do you have any comments?
What?
Look, I'm sorry. AI said you knew these movies.
They are very niche and no.
Okay, look, I do have a backup list that you may be familiar with.
Thank you.
Let's try these ones. Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Jurassic Park.
Fantastic.
You've heard of that one?
Yep.
Yeah, Jurassic Park. Heard of that one? And probably the biggest of them all, although this one did go straight to video. It wasn't at the cinemas. Scooby-Doo, The Legend of the Phantosaur.
Okay, well, I might stick with Scooby-Doo in general because I don't think I've seen that specific one.
Right.
But I know the premise of Scooby-Doo. We love Scooby-Doo. Take me back to my youth. Okay. So the question was like, what is the... What do they have in common with a risk advisor?
Yeah, so basically I looked at what happened in these movies and kind of like, overall what happened in these movies. And I saw insurance specialists reflecting the heroes in the movie. Can I say it that way?
Well, if we think about like Ghostbusters, people kind of don't take them seriously until there's a huge problem or a big Michelin Man type thing going down. In Jurassic Park, they all think they can do everything perfectly until it all falls apart. And then Scooby-Doo, it's, everything's always being dismissed as like harmless or fake until, someone has to deal with the consequences. So realistically, this is what insurance specialists deal with every single day, right? Like, the risks are real. The consequences of not being believed or ignoring the risk can be life-altering, but most people don't see the urgency because it hasn't happened to them yet.
Yeah.
So
go on.
I think what this is people, like if we talk about it from an insurance perspective, people assume that they'll be fine. Like all of these movies, they think it won't happen to me. I'll deal with it later. I'll tick that box at some point until something serious happens. And then it's very, very real. Dinosaurs chasing you. A ghost is trying to, cover you with slime. Or the evil person is behind the trapdoor. So the thing is, really we're very much like all of those because we step in before the chaos. We try because all of these are invisible risks, right? Like those invisible risks are invisible until something happens. And so we help people translate those invisible risks into a plan because life is not like the movies. Real stuff can go wrong. And you don't just get to like rewind and start from the beginning again.
Wow, that is really impressive. That is a fantastic answer. I'll tell you that. I'm glad we had a second go at the movies because those first ones I could not have had that answer. No, look, I have to say, after I got these 3, I said, can you give me 3 really bizarre movies with weird titles that no one's ever heard of? So,
Good, good. It's not just me that's out of date.
but, yeah, I mean, John dies at the end. I think I know what happens in that one. But the answer that it gave me in the with the
We'll go
movies
for
is
it.
pretty much what you said. Insurance specialists can be a bit like the underrated character in a movie, the one people don't pay much attention to until the critical moment, and then it turns out they're absolutely essential.
Yep. Sounds about right. Yep. No, and
So,
nobody wants to believe them. Everyone's like, that'll be fine. It's the Aussie way. She'll be
yeah,
right.
she'll be right.
She'll
She'll
be
be right.
right.
So, look, excellent work on that. Congratulations. That was
Well,
very
thank you.
good.
Good
Now,
choices,
just to
AI.
finish
Well
up,
done.
yes, just to finish up. So we normally go to 30 minutes, 40 minutes. We've gone over again, but it's been a
Oh,
fantastic chat. So
oh
thank
no,
you.
sorry.
No, not at all. I could have stopped at any time, so don't worry. um, where are we? Okay. One last question for you. What is the one thing you'd say about the importance of insurance, and the one bit of advice you could give our listeners about finding the right insurance specialist for them?
hmm So the one thing I'd say about the importance of insurance is what I said before: is you most people look at insurance when they have a claim, which is too late. So the idea is, most people think about it saying getting insurance when they say, when I have a mortgage and I have kids, because then I'll worry about insurance, because they're thinking of the life insurance. But actually, the way to do it is to get insurance when you are so healthy and you think nothing is going to go wrong for you, because that's when you're going to get the best medical outcome, and you're going to lock in really good insurance that is going to hold you steady for the long term through all of the ebbs and flows. Because I don't know about you, but I find that as you age, the body just starts to do really silly things, Nigel. It might just be a
Yes.
woman thing, but the creaks and the groans and the blood test that isn't quite right, and then the perimenopause, and obviously you would never experience that sort of thing directly, maybe indirectly. So if you can get insurance young, do. My partner had his first spinal surgery at 25 years old. He did not think he was going to need spinal surgery at 25 years old, but thankfully he was already had that insurance sorted. And one bit of advice to give the listeners about finding the right insurance specialist for them, I would say insurance advice is not expensive, right? We cost $330 from you, and then we take commission. So most insurers will take commission and therefore charge you a little bit. It might be a couple of $100, it might be $1,000 or $2. The best place to go is advisorratings.com.au. You can filter by your area if that's important to you. Most people tend to be remote these days, so it doesn't necessarily matter. But you can filter by your area, you can filter by the specialization, and you can see the reviews that their real clients have given them, as well as their information about them. And that can be really helpful for just narrowing down, if you don't already have someone that knows a really good insurance specialist. That's the way to narrow down who you want to look at the website of or check out on social media.
Yep.
They don't
Okay.
have a social presence. It may be that they're just old school. It may be that actually there's a reason why. I think most financial advisors these days tend to have a social presence, but advisorratings.com.au is an amazing resource, not just for an insurance specialist, but overall for any financial advisor who's on the ASIC register.
Okay. Okay, great. And well, as you said, over the last decade or so, a lot of the less desirable advisors have been weeded out from the industry, and the good ones are left.
The amazing
Right.
ones are left, exactly.
The
That's
amazing
right.
ones are left. Sorry. Yes, of course. Okay, Trish, look, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. Thank you for taking the time to have a chat with us today. And look, all the best with everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much. It was lovely to chat with you, Nigel. Thank you for having me on, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
I will do my best, and you too, and everyone else. Look forward to seeing you on next week's episode of the Priority Lane podcast. Thank you.
Right. Bye.
This episode is sponsored by My Brokers app, a white label app built specifically for financial advisors and wealth management professionals. If you want to know how you can have your own app exclusively for your business and your clients up and running by this time next week, visit mybrokers.app or download the free My Brokers demo app from your favorite app store.